We are back for the new year, and welcome to the January update from the Tau team. Without further ado, let's get into your Q&A questions. Cheers. All right, so the first question is from Dana, and he asks, will we be able to build a smart constitution on Tau based on what Ohad says about the laws of making the laws?
Yeah, there is no reason why not, assign the expressiveness versus decidability trade-off. The more we want to say, then the less decidable things become. But up to this limitation, yeah, why not?
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Ohad. And the next question is from Andrew. And he says, hi, Taunet team. When is the Tau language demo release?
Okay, thank you. I have a first crude implementation of satisfiability. I'm testing it and also cleaning. And I'll soon start with the implementation of the executor using Ohad ideas from the last couple of weeks. Thomas has been working in cleaning up ambiguities in the grammar, and now he's working in writing a command line interface. We hope to have a candidate release at the same time that all the patents have been submitted in the forthcoming weeks, so we could share with you the candidate release.
And the next question is from Dana, and he asks, has Ohad and team been made aware of hyperdimensional computing? A paper from March 2003, a newer vector symbolic architecture for solving Raven's progressive matrices, showed how to use hyperdimensional vectors in a similar way to how Tau is using BDDs. Does Ohad or the team have any thoughts or opinions on this approach? Several known AI researchers are hyping up vector-based AI as a way to achieve logical understanding and meaning. Tau is going with the BDD approach to doing some symbolic reasoning. Are BDDs restricted to Boolean operations, and will Tau be able to implement these vector-based approaches in the future? Could this be a design limitation for Tau?
Yeah, so for one thing, TML was maybe completely based on BDDs, but it is not the case of the Tau language, which is of different level of complexity. It's much more complex, and this is related to vectors and hyperdimensional vectors. I spent a lot of effort some years ago in order to do logic using vectors and hyperdimensional vectors, which, by the way, they are nothing but buzzwords, because they are used all the time in machine learning. There is nothing special, some unique technology about it. And I strongly concluded something which is pretty much obvious, that those tools, the linear algebraic tools, the vector-based tools, are too weak to do tasks as complex as logic. Their complexity is very good, is very low, and that's why people work with them, because they can do so many interesting stuff in relatively low complexity. But this is precisely the reason why they cannot do something as complex as logic.
All right, fantastic question and fantastic answer. Thank you, Dana. And the next question is from Minato, and they ask, does the team plan on delivering anything tangible anytime soon? I know you guys have been working for 8 years, but hoping we can get the testnet or experiment with Tau itself.
Thank you, Fala. That is the burning question that every member of our community has been asking. And yes, as you heard a little bit earlier in the previous question from David, is that we're really close to delivering a first demo of the Tau language itself. And once we manage that, getting a first version of the Taunet shouldn't be a problem either. So yes, hopefully we will be delivering something soon.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Karim. And the next question is from Ro, and they ask, how do the AI agents from Taunet differ from those at Autonolas?
Well, the so-called AI agents of Tau are very different than anything out there. In Tau, you have a certain language, and whatever you say in this language, that's what going to happen. Now, it sounds like a programming language, but it is not, because on programming languages and in many other formal languages, either you cannot ask questions about the consequences of what you say. So, for example, if you write a smart contract, a complex smart contract in Ethereum, and then you want to ask, will it ever try to spend more coins than it has? Then, generally speaking, there is no way to answer such questions, to get guarantees for code and things like this. This is something that is called undecidability. I guess you are new to the project, so you still didn't hear us talking for years and years about it. But if this is correct and I'm not wrong, then welcome to the community. There are decidable logical languages. We don't have the first one, but only our language is able to constrain itself. So you are able, for example, in the Tau blockchain, to give constraints on all future blocks, where each block is also constraints on all future blocks. Such a language, logical language, that is able to speak about its own sentences, and moreover is powerful enough to describe software and blockchain and things like this, is very new, and only we have such a technology, and therefore, as we started, no AI agent in the world is similar to what we do.
And the next question is from Dana, and he asks, when Taunet is operational, how will software engineering be disrupted? Will the leadership structures of projects change, or will core developers maintain leadership positions?
I guess that there will always be room for so-called core developers, people who their life and their work is the product, and they dedicate much more to it than users or other people and see a broader picture. But yes, the main way that software development will be disrupted is by focusing on the what instead of the how. No need to continue this Stone Age of telling the computer what to do at each step, at each point of time. That's crazy. Just give a high-level description and the computer figures out all the rest.
All right, fantastic, Ohad. And the next question is from Sir Andrew, and he asks, what is your opinion in terms of the social disruption of Tau? I see communication and connection of knowledge in every sense socially completely disrupted. So the way that we communicate now via messaging, via the certain platforms that we might use, social platforms, they're all in a sense very stagnant, because when you communicate, you ultimately leave your opinion on there and it doesn't really do anything. But with Tau, when you leave your opinion, that opinion can mean something to the system. It can mean something to people in the past, people in the future who may want to communicate with you. And you're now able to connect all these communications together in one place, and derive new facts, new knowledge out of those communications. So I think there'll be a huge, huge shift in how we communicate and how knowledge is created. Right now, we do it in a very obvious way. But I think Tau, once you get familiar with Tau, it's even more obvious. It's almost like, why weren't we doing this before? So I always see Tau as a very, very obvious sort of a tool that just hasn't been there. Once you're familiar with it, I think we will have a light bulb moment for humanity once people really get to see what Tau can do. All right. So the next question is from Fernando, and he asks, well, two questions actually. The first one is, what things can we expect from the testnet? And are we able to see the transactions? Or can we see the explorer or the transactions per second? And the second question is there any demo that can be shown to the community?
Yes. So one of the things actually that Andre has been working on is a wallet support for Tau. And using the wallet, initially we'll have a CLI version, but we're also working on a mobile version of the wallet. And through the wallet, you'll be able to submit transactions, including Tau formulas, and be able to see transactions, of course. The second part, what about demos? Yes. So as David mentioned a little bit earlier, we're having an initial demo of the core Tau capabilities as soon as the patents have been filed. So we'll have a sneak peek on that as well. And some of that capability will carry over the wallets, both the CLI and the mobile wallet. So stay tuned for that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Karim. And the next question is from Alyosha. And they ask, is it possible for Tau and its advanced AI to teach chess? This question arises because while chess engines like AlphaZero are exceptionally skilled, they lack the ability to teach or explain chess. They can identify optimal moves, but they cannot explain the reasoning behind them. This became apparent to me after watching a video where a grandmaster struggled to understand the moves suggested by a chess engine against an AI opponent on chess.com. The benefits of certain moves were only apparent many moves later, making it difficult for the grandmaster to grasp the engine's strategy. Could Tau, in contrast, comprehend and elucidate chess moves in such scenarios? Additionally, traditional chess engines are unable to analyze games and provide personalized feedback for improvement. Is this something that Tau could accomplish?
Chess is a tricky example because no one has even one rule. There is not even one rule what is a good move. So, for example, don't sacrifice your queen. Well, except when it's good to sacrifice your queen. There is not even one rule in chess that always applies. No one knows how to win in chess. And maybe that's what makes the game interesting. Maybe if one day someone will find the formula how to win in chess, then it will not be interesting anymore. Even computers, they don't really have a way to win in chess, and therefore they cannot even explain it to you because there is no such way. There is not even one rule. So this is something about chess, something about the nature of chess. Maybe one day people will find, maybe with Tau, maybe without Tau, we'll find ways to crack chess more than we know today. But this is left to be seen. So this comes to the point of explaining moves. So if you don't sacrifice your queen here, you have an explanation. The queen is a valuable piece. But if you sacrifice your queen, well, sometimes you also have an explanation. Explanation is basically a good reason to do so, an ultimate reason. But as we said, such things don't exist in chess. At least not that we know of. Mathematically they exist, but not that we know of. So there are heuristics. We don't see many steps ahead. We cannot calculate everything, not even computers. But we guess it's a game of guessing. At least partially, of course, not fully. Otherwise, that would also not be interesting. And chess engines also have algorithms to evaluate the board, to give a score to which position, how good is the position for you. So indeed, if this chess grandmaster wanted to know why AlphaZero said whatever it said, they could just look at the calculation, how they evaluate the board and get and see why. But this is not very informative indeed, not very human readable. So yeah, that's the state of affairs.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ohad. And the next question is from Sir Andrew. And he asks, should we expect a controlled natural language interface for us users to be available at the beginning of testnet or during testnet or at the start of mainnet?
Okay, thank you, Fala, and thank you, Andrew, for that question. No, unfortunately, for testnet, we are not planning to include a CNL, controlled natural language, for testnet just yet, just because we don't have time. But for mainnet, probably there will be one, yes.
And the next question is from Dosky, and they say, hello, Tau team. After testnet, how long will it take for mainnet? It's the first question. And can you give me an update about the blockchain, which kind of blockchain it will be? And there is many layer ones out there. And will Tau be different from them or just be a copy paste?
Basically, we, as you already know, I think we chose quantum as a layer one blockchain to fork. But in my mind, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, we've chosen it for convenience, but it doesn't matter too much what layer one blockchain we use, because we're using the blockchain just to implement the basic, what we call mechanical or dumb layer of the blockchain of recording and verifying transactions. But all the smarts of the blockchain will be implemented as a layer on top of that in Tau language. So the block acceptance code, the transaction verifications or rule, the evolution of the blockchain will all be covered or governed in the Tau language. So it really doesn't matter too much, what blockchain we use as a base level, and eventually, long term, honestly, probably 95% of the blockchain would be implemented as Tau code. So that's the ultimate goal. We may not get there, even at version 1.0 of mainnet, but that's our long-term goal. So in that sense, we will be able to support all the core functionalities of any blockchain to be able to call yourself a blockchain, but at the same time, all the benefits of Tau that Ohad explained will be attainable, and we'll be able to implement them on top of any blockchain we want, really.
All right, brilliant. Thank you so much, Karim. The next question is from Ken, and they ask, what are the target users for the upcoming testnet? Is it limited to academic users and programmers, or can we as Tau community members be able to understand it and test it too?
Yeah, so the first version of Taunet, Tau and Taunet, like I was just saying, will not include a controlled natural language. Therefore, someone would have to be fluent in Tau and be able to write Tau logical formulas in order to use the innovative features of testnet. You'll still be able to submit transactions even if you don't know Tau, but that's pretty basic blockchain stuff. But yes, unfortunately, in the first language or in the first iteration of testnet, you will have to be able to write formulas in Tau language in order to do anything interesting with it.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Karim. And the last question of the day is from the man, Dana. All right, and this question is, what was the most difficult technical challenge the development team faced this month? And has the development team adopted AI tools like CoPilot or LLM code generation into their workflow?
Okay, thank you, Dana, for your question. From my side, at least, the most involved part has been mostly mathematically related. Basically, to have a clear understanding of the satisfiability of Tau formulas, and also had ideas from the last couple of weeks related to execution. Regarding the technical phase, the most demanding part has been to implement the satisfiability in such a way that minor changes into the grammar didn't break the implementation. The bits that we need to implement weren't covered by the standard build API that we have, mostly because they were too concrete. We need an alternative approach. Regarding the use of the CoPilot, I use in a daily basis Visual Studio Code with CoPilot as a development environment, and the results deeply depend on the use case and the context that we are facing, we are using it. For example, explaining errors, that's a nice feature for common errors, mostly related to C++ or the standard template library and so on. But when you have errors in your templated code and so on, it's not that helpful. And regarding proposing new code, in that case, we should distinguish between let's say source code and test code. In the case of the source code, it's not that useful unless you write code that replicates the same idea of some previous code that you have. And in the case of the test code, the above premise is usually satisfied, because when you are writing tests, you are repeating a lot of boilerplate code and so on. So in this case, it works fine and it's quite useful. When I tested for personal uses, not related to Tau code, which is a very specific kind of code, it was generally more useful. Mostly if I didn't have a deep understanding of the programming language that I was using, but I have a clear idea of what it should be done. Generally speaking, when the code you want to write is more standard, CoPilot could take, let's say, a look into someone other's code and the results are better. But in general, I'm quite happy with CoPilot because it removes you, let's say, tedious stuff. So I use it daily and it's fine. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, David. And thank you to all of you who've tuned in, new and old community members. Please keep sending your questions in to us and we'll see you in Telegram. Cheers.